Hey traders, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. Today is a recap for Friday, November 27th. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and half trading day today. We had a half day in the US and Canadian markets were open for the whole day. And we have the end of the week and one more trading day on Monday, which will be the end of the monthly candle as well. So in today's video, we're going to discuss cannabis. Canadian cannabis stocks stealing the show, up huge today, and we'll look over some news and events. We'll look into some overall indices. Today's video is going to be a little bit longer as we'll do a little bit of a deep dive here into the week. And I went and picked up a couple of beverages. So in celebration of Canadian cannabis and the cannabis sector seeing a lot of positive momentum, cheers to that. I also picked up one of the XMG's tropical fruit. They're absolutely amazing. And before we jump into today's video, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and tick the bell to be notified on any future updates. And also, I do know that the mango pineapple is going to be out as well very shortly. I called the dispensaries in Alberta, and they expect to receive them within the next week or two. So if you are interested and anticipating that, you should see them in your local cannabis retailers in the next week or so. So again, just to reiterate, in today's video, we're going to talk about Canadian cannabis stocks stealing the show, and also Ontario looking to implement different laws to allow weed, drinks, and edibles to be sold at bars. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. I think that's one of the reasons why cannabis was up today. We also saw that there was a federal legalization bill going to be voted on, which we'll bring up here in just a second. So again, we'll go over some news and events. So these are the most interested that I've been in headlines for a long time. And I do think that the market is really just discounting a lot that's going on. It's basically in a world of its own. And we'll cruise through these real quick because there's a lot of news lately to go through. But President Donald Trump says he will leave the White House if the Electoral College votes for Joe Biden. But he said he will never concede. Said it would be hard for him to concede because we know there was massive fraud while continuing to offer no concrete evidence of widespread voting irregularities. Biden won the election with 306 electoral college votes, many more than 270 required. Trump's 232, and the electors are scheduled to meet on December 14th to formalize the outcome. Trump loses appeal of Pennsylvania election case. A federal appeals court on Friday rejected an attempt from President Donald Trump's re-election campaign. A 3-judge panel on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit wrote in a scalding option that the Trump's campaign claims have no merit. So not seeing anybody on the side of Trump going into the end of the month and as we transition over to the Biden administration. Also, we saw that North Korea was a suspected hacker targeting the AstraZeneca breakthrough and cure, sources say. So we'll see if there's any more development on that, but starting to see some sketchy things going on. North Korea hacking AstraZeneca as a cyber attack. We saw Britain tries to cool AstraZeneca concerns as its CEO touts a new trial. So still a lot of questions to be answered. Essentially, Oxford and the World Health Organization scientists are saying more data is needed on their trials. We also saw that the US set a record of more than 90,000 patients in hospitals, and healthcare workers warn situation is dire. So we're starting to see some real stress tests on the healthcare system south of the border and north of the border here in Canada and the US. Ontario reports a new record of more than 1,800 new cases, highest number of tests conducted. We also, so in addition to the North Korea cyber attack, we saw that Iran vows retaliation after top nuclear scientists shot dead near Tehran. So pretty sad and some horrific scenes there. If you are easily disturbed and stomach is disturbed, maybe you do not want to take a look at this, but essentially, you can read this on your own time, but essentially it's not looking good. It looks like it was potentially a US intervention, but we still don't really know a whole lot of details at this point. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail into that, but we'll just keep an eye out to see if there's any geopolitical or any tensions developing in North Korea or Iran over the next few weeks. And the Trump administration could potentially crack down. We know that Trump had ordered an assassination on their top military, one of their top military leaders and one of the most wanted men out there. And ties with Iran right now are not good. And we could see potential impacts of that going into the end of the year before Trump is out of office. So we'll see if there's any more sanctions or any more development on that front. Americans are increasingly going hungry as the global situation at hand rages and stimulus expires. So a lot of people are going to be losing their benefits the day after Christmas. So a little sad there. Hopefully they're able to reach an agreement of some sort. We saw that China is more concerned by Biden than Trump, economist Jim O'Neill says. So President-elect Biden is likely to push for agreements at a multilateral trade table, which could mean more concrete action with dealing with China. China President Xi Jinping called Biden earlier this week to congratulate him on his victory. Saw Thanksgiving Day online sales hit record 5.1 billion, up 21.5% from last year. Absolutely insane. A lot of people were shopping online, and a lot of the malls were very bleak and not very packed, obviously, with the global situation that was to be expected. We also saw Amazon workers plan Black Friday strikes as protests begin in 15 countries. You can check that out on your own terms, but keep an eye on some potential developments into that going into next week. We saw Bitcoin edges lower to extend biggest slump since March, since the massive bull run that we're on right now. Take a look at some Bitcoin charts here in a bit as well. And we saw that weed at the bar, the tourism industry in Ontario wants pot venues open by spring. So essentially they want to be able to sell pot drinks and edibles in bars, nightclubs, venues, that type of thing. But they're just going through the pros and cons and how they would isolate that from existing alcohol. So as we know, I did a video on this earlier today as well, and on Kronos Group's Golden Cross, and I mentioned it, but essentially everything's isolated. So we have separate stores for cannabis, separate stores for alcohol. So if we put it in the bars, how are they going to be able to isolate that from one another? And that's the problem that they're discussing right now. So we'll see if there's any more development on that as well. We also saw that federal marijuana legalization bill will get a congressional vote next week, leader announces. So in my opinion, those two articles are likely why the Canadian cannabis stocks are up so much today. And I've been calling this out for a while that I expect Canadian LPs to see the majority of the benefit here in the short term because of their US uplisted on major exchange and access to higher liquidity and ease of access for institutional investors to get involved. So a bill to federally legalize marijuana will receive a full floor vote in the US House of Representatives next week, a top Democratic leader in the chamber announced on Friday. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said the chamber will make up the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement More Act at some time between Wednesday and Friday. The floor scheduled announcement comes weeks after the leader first confirmed that the House would advance the proposal before the year's end. So again, you can read this article on your own time, but we could see some additional hype going into next week. So everything's looking good for the Canadian cannabis space, and I will look to rotate into US eventually, but once we get word of US uplistings, then we'll, like I said, we'll start to transition. I'll start to build more of a portfolio in the US. So taking a look at some overall broader indices. So we'll take a look at some charting here. So first on the list, we'll take a look at SPY. So SPY closed the week out on the weekly candle with a lower wick, and we are above the 10-week moving average. The stochastic and MACD are crossing bullish, so that usually signifies that we're going to be expecting more upside into the next few months or potentially the end of the year. SPY on the daily, we're well above the 50-day moving average, the 100-day and the 200. And just taking a look at the weekly candle close. So you can see we had a little bit of a lower wick, and we are testing the high. So we broke out of that weekly inside bar bullish. We did have resistance at 364.38. We hit 364.18, and we closed at 363.67. So pulled back a little bit there, down very, very little, about 6 pennies into after hours here. So not really much has changed on that front. Taking a look at the monthly. So again, monthly broke out to a higher high. We do have this bearish divergence here on the RSI, and it is looking to cross out of that. So we'll see if we get any more continuation, but it's starting to, you can see we're breaking out to higher highs on the price level and the price action, and we're still forming lower highs and lower lows on the monthly RSI. So just keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind that we could potentially see some pullbacks on is we're outside of the monthly Bollinger Bands. We are outside of many Bollinger Bands, the 3 months, the 1 month. We're outside of the weekly Bollinger Band. So just make sure you have stop losses in place, because this is the time where people are starting to get complacent and there's not really a whole lot going on. We're just basically trading sideways and not seeing a whole lot of volatility right now. And generally that calm before the storm is something to be watching out for and to develop a plan, because once this decides to turn, this could turn in a hurry. You can see that the extreme greed is now the marker on the fear and greed index. We're at 92. I think we were at 94 at one point there recently. So we're starting to get very, very close to the 100 percentile on that. And if you recall, back in January, we were at, I believe, 98 on the extreme greed scale. And that's when we pulled back in a huge way, and we lost about, well, we pulled back to 218 on SPY. So just start to keep in mind that we're at all-time highs. We're starting to run out of buyers. Obviously, if everybody's invested and everybody has already bought the dip, there's going to come a time where there's nobody left to buy the dip, and you do not want to be the one holding the bag when this cycle starts to shift into a bear market. So on the daily, you can see that we had low volume today. So obviously low volume yesterday and today, with yesterday being a holiday, US markets being closed, and today being a half day. So we had the 25th, and well, not yesterday, I was on the 25th that we saw volume tapering off, but we are breaking to new highs. As we know, we don't need volume on SPY to go higher, but we are holding EMA 12 there as well. So everything looking good here. And we are looking to all blue sky breakouts and all-time highs into next week. But we did have an inside bar there on the daily as well. And we did break above that. So we had a weekly inside bar and a daily inside bar. But you can see we had this tightening range with a low, high, lower, high, higher, low, mini bull break. But we'll see if we can get more follow through into next week. But most important short-term support for me is going to be the low here of 354.15 and also EMA 12, which is sitting at 358.01. So we have yet to lose that in quite a few days. So it's been 23 days since we crossed below the EMA 12 support. So once we lose that, that'll be a notable shift in momentum over to the bears. Taking a look into the end of the day. So on the hourly chart, you can see here we're at a high, low, lower high, higher, higher low, lower high. So tightening range there into the end of the day. Essentially just traded sideways. Like I said, not really much going on. It's quite slow in the markets right now. We'll see if volatility and volume picks up into next week. QQQ closed up almost 1% today and tested the all-time highs. Got close to testing the all-time highs, the all-time high at 303.50. But you can see here that we don't have any daily high or low compared to 288.07. So that's going to be the most important short-term support on the daily. And then we have resistance of the high of today at 317, and then nothing up until the all-time high at 303.50. Just take a quick peek at the weekly chart. So we did close above the 10-week moving average, but the MACD is lagging, so we haven't fully crossed yet. It's looking to cross, but wouldn't consider that a pass yet. Stochastic is blasting off bullish, and taking a look at the daily chart, we have well above the 50, the 100, and the 200-day moving average. So that's where we stand on QQQ and SPY. Taking a look at the crypto space, so you can see Bitcoin started its hourly consolidation, then it started 4-hour consolidation along with many other cryptos. And right now we are in a 15-minute uptrend on Bitcoin, and we could be setting a lower high. Most important short-term support is going to be here around the 16,900 level. If we lose that, then we confirm a 15-minute downtrend, and 4-hour consolidation is still underway. Ethereum also in a 15-minute uptrend. Litecoin 15-minute uptrend as well, and XRP as well. Pretty much the same, in the same boat here for everybody. Link also in a 15-minute uptrend. We also, so I still have a position in Link and I still have a position in Ripple, looking for these 4-hour trend changes and the bounce to continue. So if we can change the 4-hour trend here, we'll be confident that the daily high or low is set. So then we would be looking at most short-term support, most important short-term support on the daily would be $11.28. So if we change the 4-hour trend bullish, then that's going to be confirmed. The daily high or low will be confirmed at 11.28, but we need to break above $12.95 to confirm a 4-hour uptrend. So bulls have quite a bit of room here to form these 4-hour higher lows. We also could be forming a inverse head and shoulders here on the 4-hour. If we did break this bullish, we'd be looking at a neckline of around here, and a measured move would bring us up to the a little over $14 range. And you can see we did top out at EMA 12 there on the 4-hour, acting as resistance. So first thing will be to get above EMA 12 resistance, and then we'll look towards EMA 26, and we'll look to break the high here at $12.95 to confirm that 4-hour uptrend. But we'll want to get above EMA 12 and 26 as well. And like I said, just looking for a 4-hour trend change and get that daily high or low set, and we'll look for the daily bounce to begin. We got about an hour and 11 minutes left of this daily candle, and we do have an inside bar, so we'll see how we open. Most important resistance is going to be $12.95 and support at $12.02 of that inside bar if we open up as an inside bar. Still got a little over an hour, but a lot can happen in that time. We also could see a bear cross of EMA 12 and 26 exponential moving averages, but wouldn't be surprised, wouldn't expect that, honestly, given the size of the pullback. We've already pulled back 30%, so over 30%. So highly doubt that we'd see a bear cross and just, you know, a straight dip to the basement. But stranger things have happened, but I'm not holding my breath. So XRP, again, looking daily inside bar, looking to set that daily high or low, bounce off EMA 12 support. And again, most important support is going to be 45 cents, 45.9 cents. Most important resistance is going to be 58.8. If we can get above 58.8 cents, that'll confirm a 4-hour uptrend and the daily high or low is set. And once we change that 4-hour trend, we zoom out and we anticipate a daily lower high compared to the high of 78 cents. We also had resistance on the daily up here at, I think it was actually, it was a weekly resistance. So we had weekly resistance at 79 and we topped out at 78. So great level to be taking profit. But again, we'll see how we open up in about a little over an hour, and we'll see if we have multiple inside bars. And most important short-term support will be 50.5 cents, and 58.8 is your most important resistance if we do tighten up into that double inside bar. So that's where we stand on Ripple. Taking a look at the Bitcoin chart. So again, just looking to change the 4-hour trend. We have a low here, double bottom at 16,200, a high of 17,475. Looking to set this 4-hour higher low. If we can get above that 17,475 level, that confirms the 4-hour uptrend. But again, have to battle with EMA 12 and 26 periods as well. But we did change the 15-minute trend, so it does look like the 4-hour higher low is set. So going to be an interesting end to this daily candle and open into tomorrow's daily candle, and we'll keep an eye and we'll check back in. We'll take a quick peek at Ethereum, and then that'll be it for the crypto space. So again, daily inside bar, searching for that 4-hour higher low and confirm an uptrend. Confirm that uptrend, the daily higher low is set. And we're in a 15-minute uptrend, so we can be confident that that 4-hour higher low is now established. So that's where we stand. Taking a look at some other tickers here and broader markets. So taking a look at the dollar DXY on the daily. So we closed out at a new low, 91.78. We do have support at 91.74. So we'll see if that comes into play here in the next hour or into next week. We are approaching daily oversold as well. On the monthly, we could be looking to confirm just going to delete those lines. So we could be a monthly bear flag. It looks like it does want to confirm. So again, most important support is going to be 91.74. If we lose 91.74 convincingly, we can be confident that the monthly bear flag is playing out. And this could get really ugly. If this were to confirm, we could be looking down here to the 84 level, which would be a huge drop. We do have support at 88 as well, so that could be a potential area to bounce off of that monthly bear flag. But all about 91.74 support. And we'll be confident that once we change the 4-hour trend, I mean, we're pretty much on downtrends in every time frame here now. So we'll start with the shorter time frames and we'll zoom out, look for lower highs, but it's not looking good right now on the dollar. It's very, very bleak. I'm not sure what sort of short-term catalyst we're going to anticipate, but it does seem like with all the news about the potential cure and everybody getting the shots here in the next few months, that a lot of the bullish catalysts are out of the way. So we'll have to keep an eye out for any potential negative news. I could see more laws with the big tech companies hurting the space, but saw that Warren Buffett's also loading up on gold and trimming his positions, anticipating a market crash at some point. But we'll have to just wait for the technicals to give us indication of that. So taking a look at the Dow Jones, so we did end with an inside bar here, holding EMA 12. That's going to be the most important support and visual guide. Let's take a look at IWM, up over 0.5% today. We saw a break of November 25th high. So we had a high of 184.31. Today we had as high as 184.49, but not able to break through that resistance with conviction yet. But all-time highs are in sight and blue sky breakout potential into next week. Again, the EMA 12 is going to be the most important visual guide support going into next week. We have the NASDAQ as well, looking to see a bull cross of EMA 12 through 26 period on the daily. And we did break the low of November 25th. So we had a low of 127.04 and today we hit 126.28. So looks like we could be forming a bit of a daily bull flag. Taking a look at SMH, the semiconductors. So blasting off today to new highs, all-time highs, and blue sky breakout. Volume was quite high today for being a half day as well. So that's notable. TAN solar sector up almost 1.5%. Oil. So it looks like it is consolidating a bit here on the daily. Could still be a daily bull flag as well. And we are in a monthly uptrend on oil now as well, but we do have EMA 26 resistance. Looks like we're topping out there at that level at 46.60, closed at 45.54. So we did close below that. So that's notable. And again, Monday is the last day of the month. Today we had the weekly candle close. We haven't had a weekly higher low here compared to 33.67. So once we lose the daily uptrend, then weekly consolidation will be underway. So silver, taking a look at silver on the weekly, you can see that we almost broke out of this descending triangle bearish, but we held support here on that neckline. And we do have support below that at 2166 as well. So most important weekly support is 2166. If we break that with conviction, then we'll look to confirm that weekly descending triangle, and there's no support really down here until 1695. Taking a look at gold. So again, we're breaking out of this descending triangle here. We do have this yellow uptrend line that we could potentially bounce at around the 17,000, or sorry, just taking a look here, $1,767. But the measured move here of this descending triangle will bring us down to around the 1670s, which is the last weekly high or low support. But could potentially see a bounce here around 1750, and then look to potentially set a weekly lower high. And then if we do set a weekly lower high and lower low, confirm a downtrend into that weekly support at 1670. That's what I'd like to see. I'd probably be looking to cover any bearish positions here and then anticipate a weekly lower high given the size of the pullback. And then aggressive bears could short that lower high and target the 1670. I'd be looking to go bullish at that level. So that's where we stand. XBI, the biotech ETF, huge day today, all-time highs, blue sky breakout. Congrats to the bulls. Massive bullish candle here on the daily. We are approaching the top of the monthly or the daily Bollinger Bands. We're above the weekly Bollinger Bands and the monthly. So we'll see how much legs this run has left to it. But the saying the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent has never been more true. XHB, Home Builders ETF, down a little over almost 0.2% today. XLE Energy Sector consolidating a little bit today, down over 1%. And could be a potential, on the 5-minute there, so it could be a potential daily bull flag as well. We do have a gap to fill down here at 38.39 as well. So we'll see if we can fill that gap into Monday, but essentially we are anticipating a daily bull flag. We could get as low as 38.25 range and still be expecting a daily bull flag. XLF Financial Sector down a little under 0.5%. Looks like we do have a couple inside bars. We had a high of 28.58. We broke that by 1 penny and started to pull back. So very, very tight range going into next week. And we did see some volume come in there at the end of the day as well. XLRE Real Estate Trust. So finished the red day today down about 0.2%. And we do have EMA 26 support there as a potential bounce level. XLV catching a little bit of a bid today. First time we've seen that in a while. A little bit weird to see it green, honestly, but we are over EMA 12 resistance. And we did break the high of November 25th. And we don't have any real resistance up here until 113.19. So we'll see if the daily bounce can continue to be underway on Monday and into next week. That's where we stand on the overall broader market. So again, silver looking to continue that descending triangle. So we're watching that into next week. So obviously risk on with gold trending down. So we're not seeing as much inflation hedge and just overall hedging and de-risking going into the end of the year. So Amazon, Zoom was up big today as well, up over 6%. I know a couple members are trading Zoom, so congrats to the Zoom bulls. I did want to bring up the Amazon chart here just to track that weekly head and shoulders that we've been watching. So it could still be forming here, and most important support is going to be 28.71. If we lose that with conviction, then we'll anticipate that head and shoulders follow through. Apple closed up almost 0.5% today. Riot was down over 11%. NKLA down 7.6%. JMIA down almost 2%. And from the bull list, we had Snow up almost 10%. Zoom, Air Canada catching a bid as well. Obviously on the positive news about travel industry being able to go back to normal soon, hopefully by the summer of 2021. Tesla up 2% today, all-time highs. Congrats to the bulls. And that's pretty much all we have for individual tickers at this point. Let's take a look at some MJ. That's pretty much all I had. Yeah, so MJ sector review. So we'll take a look. Again, I did a video today on Cron. Cron had a golden cross. So you can see here the 50-day cross to the 100 and the 200 simultaneously. There was an algo alert came out today, and I brought this up in today's video as well. But essentially, there was 2 algo alerts on Cron back on November 2nd. It said at the price of $5.68, enter with a stop at $4.89, and we targeted $7 to $8. So if we go over here to the Cron chart, back on November 2nd, you can see it triggered at the 560s. We hit a low of 544. Again, the stop was around 480. So if you would have set that, you would never have been stopped out, and you would have seen a gain of about 50% off that algo alert. We also had another algo alert. I think it was yesterday, or no, it was on November 25th. So it said buy price $7.60 to $8, entry type long swing. And this was on the US ticker. So obviously we weren't open yesterday. And we opened the day. So it had a buy alert of $7.60, $8, target 9 to 11. And today, what did we hit? We hit a low of $7.63. So again, the buy recommendation was between $7.60 and $8. So if you would have bought at $7.63, like the algo had mentioned, you'd be up about 12% on the day today. So 2 algo alerts, absolutely crushing it for Cron. We are daily overbought on the daily chart. Weekly chart, not overbought yet. But we did establish did we have a higher low here? We had a low of 767 and 763. So not really much of a pullback. We do have a gap in the chart as well. And EMA 12 has been rock solid as support. So that's where we stand on Cron. Just taking a look at the weekly moving averages. So we are over the 200 weekly moving average and the 50 weekly moving average. We have the 100 weekly moving average up at $10.12. Could be a potential area to take some profit, but Cron definitely looking as one of the strongest. See MACD stochastic just going parabolic. We're well above the 10-week moving average and curling up here in a hurry. So it looks like there's going to be some crazy velocity and volatility going into next week and the end of the year. But APHA, probably the most strongest Canadian LP in my opinion, than Canopy and Cron and Hexo. I know my account has been, I'm up about 25% on my Hexo entry. So I have a Cron position, a Hexo position, I have a few other positions, but those are my major ones. I also have some crypto. So like I said, I'm trading Link and Ripple, and I'm hedging with a SPY and QQQ short in case this market decides to go belly up here. As we know, it's going to happen eventually. We are approaching the top of the daily Bollinger Bands here as well on Cron on the daily chart. So that's where we stand on Cron. So ACB Aurora up leading again today, over 20% today. So congrats to the bulls there. Tilray up 13%, Huge 16%, TGOD 13%, Labs 13%, APHA 10%, Hexo almost 10%. It's up to 88 cents after hours, Hexo. And on the Canadian side, you can see I believe we closed at $1.14. So that's pretty much where we stand. VFF bulls also catching a bid, and PCLO, I did a video on this as well the other day, but you can see that we're pulling back here convincingly. I said once we top out, don't be surprised if we see a 10-20% pullback, and we've already pulled back over 20% from that recent relative high. We were also outside of the daily Bollinger Bands, coming down within that. So as soon as we broke that daily lower high pattern, we had or higher low pattern. We had a higher low pattern every day for 4 days in a row. And as soon as we lost the low of on the 25th, or I guess this was open on the 26th on the TSX Venture. So we were open yesterday. As soon as we did break the low of yesterday, daily consolidation was underway. And also once we lost the hourly uptrend, so we had a high. And let me just see here, turn extended hours off. So we had high, low, lower high, lower low, confirmed an hourly downtrend. Then we lost the low of yesterday. Obviously, daily consolidation is underway, and we'll look to a daily higher low compared to, we have 80 cents, not really much down there, 56 cents. So anything over 56 cents, in my opinion, is going to be a daily higher low. So again, this is why we strongly encourage not to enter when things are getting extreme. When the RSI is overbought on the daily, it can be a recipe for disaster. Unless you're playing off a short-term support level, playing hourly oversold conditions, that might have actually been a good trade. Did we get there? No, we did not. So that'd be something to watch out for going into next week to see if daily consolidation continues and maybe eye an entry at an hourly oversold. Could have also tried 5-minute oversold. So we did touch 5-minute oversold and didn't really get much of a bounce there. And then as you can see, we were breaking to the new low here at 143. We hit 5-minute oversold. And from that entry, you would have made about 10%. So solid bounce there off of the oversold conditions. So let's take a look at CGC as well. CGC breaking to new highs. The stochastic starting to cross as well. Bullish, MACD already crossed bullish. Again, starting to see a huge ramp up here in the 10-week moving average. Chasing it up. Taking a look at Hexo. Hexo above the 10-week moving average. Stochastic still trending lower here, but we'll see if we can change that into next week. MACD cross bullish as well. Taking a look at APHA. Again, one of the stronger LPs, if not the strongest in my opinion, well above the 10-week stochastic and MACD, very, very bullish. So next to Cron, we have Hexo next on the list that could potentially be forming a golden cross. So you can see here the 50's already crossed through the 100 and getting close to the 200-day moving average up at 74 cents. So 50 is currently at 73. We just need to go one more penny essentially and we'll be crossing, and had a very bullish close today on Hexo as well. We closed at the high of the day and broke the resistance of 85 cents. So close above that 85 cent level. And just taking a look at the after hours price, we are sitting at 88 cents. Cron after hours, Karoon, 854. CGC, 2901, not really much of a change there. APHA, 777, so up a little bit, up about 5 pennies there, 4 pennies. So that's where we stand on Canadian MJ. Congrats to the Bulls once again. And Canopy had a daily inside bar bull break there as well. That was the go signal today, but did close with a very bullish candle outside of the daily Bollinger Band. We are overbought on the daily, but weekly just barely hit overbought. No real resistance. We closed here right at the high of the week. No real resistance all the way up until the all-time highs, guys. This is starting to get really interesting. It's going to be an awesome finish to the year. See if we can turn 2020 around and give people some good news. Wouldn't that be awesome? Some MJ gains in your stocking this year. So taking a look at the US MJ. So again, we're not seeing as much bids being caught in the US sector. And again, that's because of low liquidity. We're seeing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars being traded on these Canadian LPs on the NYSE and the NASDAQ. So why in the right mind would hedge funds or big institutional investors be looking to trade US MSOs that only trade 20, 30, 50 million, 100 million at the most, when, you know, Canopy and Aurora and APHA, all those big names, they trade hundreds of millions, and Aurora traded about $3 billion in one day worth of trading volume. So it's going to take some time for that shift, in my opinion. So that's why I'm holding off. But True Leave testing all-time highs, actually set a new all-time high today. So we have 37.75 as the new resistance to be watching. We'll see if we can continue that blue sky breakout into next week. But congrats to the Bulls. So on the bear list, TAT was down 6%, NBEV 1.5%, Chiron down on some dilution, still struggling. Ian up massively, 40%, coming off the low at 7, I think it was at 7 cents. 7.5 cents. You'd currently be up 182 to 200%. So congrats to the bulls there. MedMen up 18%, CXXI up 12%. So the lower cap names and tier 2, 3 names seeing a bid. And Harv and VFF again continue their monster moves. So that's where we stand. Let's just take a look at TrueLeave on the daily. We are not overbought yet. We are forming some bearish RSI divergence. You can see here that we're trending lower on the daily RSI and the price is breaking out to new highs. So that is notable. We've yet to form a daily higher low since all the way down here at 32.08. So bulls got about 17% or so to form a daily higher low. Could look to form that around EMA 12 or 26 on that support. But we did lose the daily uptrend, and now we're looking to confirm an uptrend again here on the daily. So we'll look to do that by setting a higher low and higher high. But we'll know that the daily bounce is finished once we lose the low of the previous day. So going into Monday, if we lose 36.55, daily consolidation is underway. And also we'll want to see a loss of the hourly uptrend to dictate daily consolidation to have utmost confidence in that. Taking a look at the weekly close very bullish with a bullish engulfing candle. Close near the top of the weekly Bollinger Band. Weekly is again trending lower, so while the price lower, so we have some divergence there while the price is trending higher. On the monthly, we're well outside of the monthly Bollinger Band as well, and we are monthly overbought. So we do have earnings coming up on, let's see here, not for a while, not until April, it looks like. That doesn't seem right, but we'll see if TradingView updates that. Acreage up over 11% today as well. So that's pretty much where we stand. I think I'm going to leave it there. There wasn't really much else. I'll just check and see if there's anything else that I had on my list. That's pretty much it. If anybody has any tickers or questions or any help that you need, anything that you need help with, just let me know in the comments below. Other than that, hope everyone has a great weekend. So again, we had a half-day trading today in the US. We do have the jobless claim numbers coming out on Thursday next week. And keep in mind that the November job report will be out on Friday. So that's going to be the most important economic events going into next week. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I'm going to finish my Molo, and then I'm going to move over to the XMG. Also ordered a bunch of drinks off of the albertacannabis.org website. Going to try out the new Canopy Growth CBD drinks. So there's like cucumber and mint, blueberry acai. There's a bunch of different ones. Some have 20 milligrams of CBD. Some have 2 milligrams of THC and 2 milligrams of CBD 1-to-1 ratio. So I'll be doing a video, product review video on those next week. And also ordered the new XMG peach mango pineapple that Hexo just came out with the 10 milligram THC option. So we'll see when that arrives next week, but expect another product review video on Monday or Tuesday, hopefully next week. So with that, thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday for another daily market recap.